And today what I wanted to do is focus on two new programs that can have a significant impact on the lives of veterans in Vermont and throughout this country. And those two programs are, number one, the significantly expanded educational opportunities that will be available to post 9/11 veterans. And second of all, the fact that we are beginning to make some progress in bringing veterans into the VA who were thrown out by Bush in 2003, the so-called Priority 8 veterans. Last year, Congress passed the most significant veterans education legislation since the original GI Bill of Rights in 1944. And by the way, that legislation had a profound impact not only on millions of soldiers who were returning from the war, but on our country as a whole. This legislation, this new GI educational bill, which I co-sponsored and fought for, will make post-9/11 veterans eligible for substantial financial aid as they pursue their higher education. And the point of today's get-together is to make sure that everybody in the state of Vermont knows about these programs, and we're going to give you information as to how you can find out more and make sure that these programs work for you. But the bottom line is we have passed a huge expansion of educational opportunities for post-9/11 veterans. And let me just very briefly touch on some of them. There will be a major tuition and fees payment which goes directly to the school up to the level of tuition and fees at the most expensive state institution of higher learning where the veteran is enrolled in school. So by and large, most veterans who will go to school will have their tuition and fees paid for completely. In addition, there will be a monthly housing allowance that for someone attending school in Vermont will be approximately $1,700 a month. That's a very significant stipend. So what we're talking about now is tuition and housing coverage. Furthermore, there will be an annual book stipend of $1,000 a year. Furthermore, there will also be, and this is important and a little bit complicated, so I'm going to ask people later on to do their best to clarify it. What this legislation also does is it allows these benefits to be transferred to family members. Husband may want to give it to his wife, may want to give it to his kids, and one can do that under certain circumstances. So my message today is that post-9/11 Vermont veterans who are interested in pursuing a higher education should get as much information about the new legislation as they can and determine what options work best for them. As some may recall, in 2003, the Bush administration removed so-called Priority 8 veterans from access to VA health care. Priority 8 veterans are people without service-connected disabilities. They were not hurt or wounded in the course of their military service. But many of them can have incomes as low as $28,000 a year and still not be able to get into the VA for health care. Some of us have worked very hard to open the door to those people who were pushed out of the VA. And what I am happy to announce today is that in Congress we have provided an additional $350 million so that some 265,000 Priority 8 veterans will once again be allowed into the system. And essentially, and we go into greater detail later, what has happened is we have raised at the first level, we have raised by 10% the allowable income for veterans. So if your income, if you just missed getting in the past, it's going to go up 10% and you can get in now. We expect that in the not too distant future, it's going to go up another 10%. And we'll see what happens in future years. But my own view is that the doors of the VA should be open to any veteran who has served. And we have information on that as well. So the bottom line here is that there are two significant improvements in benefits for our veterans. And every veteran in the state of Vermont should find out how these new benefits work for them. And we have people here who are prepared to provide more information.